I want to start out by being brutally honest here. I'm a financial trader, which means I make money with money, and I'm damn good at it too. And in less than a minute, I'll explain both why that's so important and how that's going to have a monumental impact on your life, even if you've never traded so much as a baseball card. You see, the truth is, if you were to truly understand the stock market, you could do extremely well. But although you can get stinking rich, making a living trading stocks is just far too complex and way beyond most people's reach. And because of this, I never thought in a million years I'd be making a video and talking to the general public about what I do. So why am I talking to you right now? Well, to put it bluntly, a single piece of technology recently changed everything. I stumbled across something that's so incredibly simple and so loaded with profit potential that anyone, and I truly mean anyone, suddenly has the opportunity to make life-changing returns starting with as little as 25 bucks. Just how profitable is this? Well, put it this way. If you had invested that $25 in the beginning of 2012, it would have been worth almost $4,000 within a year. That means $100 would have turned into nearly $16,000. 500 into nearly $80,000. Yep, just by letting it sit there and doing nothing. No skills required, no training needed. What am I talking about? Bitcoin. And look, if you're anything like me, you've probably heard a little something about this ingenious new type of currency. But what do you really know about it? Well, it's time you found out the dirty truth, because what I'm about to reveal to you will change the way you look at money for the rest of your life. Oh, and if you think you know everything about Bitcoin, good or bad, then you especially need to keep watching, because in a couple of minutes, I'm going to completely blow your mind with a two-part secret that I guarantee you never knew existed. But before we get any further, let me give you a hint right now about Bitcoin's dirtiest little secret. As you may know, Bitcoin's price moves up and down, just like a stock. In fact, it's moved up about 17,000% in just the last year or two. And you could have become a bona fide multi-millionaire owning just the tiniest little bit of it. But did you know you can make even more money when Bitcoin goes down in price than when it goes up? I'm guessing you had no idea. Well, in the next 7 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how that works and how the next massive trend in creating the closest thing to overnight wealth that's ever existed is lying right in front of your very fingertips. Hi, my name's Chris Dunn. I've been trading the financial markets for a little over 12 years now. I regularly speak from stage at the largest trading expos in the world. I have over 9,000 students from 34 different countries, and my entire philosophy is to build wealth, live well, and give back, which is exactly what this presentation is about today. See, while most of the financial industry focuses on helping the super rich continue to get richer, it's been my mission to help the rest of us find true financial freedom. But I'll admit, with the odds stacked against the little guy, the past 7 years have been a difficult journey. Until now, Bitcoin, and more specifically, the secret I'm about to reveal in this video about Bitcoin, has changed that forever. Anyone, that means you, can get started with a tiny investment and have the ability to dramatically change your financial future. But listen, don't take my word for it. Check out this chart from Forbes magazine. If you got lucky and picked one of the top performing stocks in 2013, like Netflix, you could have turned that $100 into $400. Not bad, right? But if you would have invested that same $100 in Bitcoin just last year, it would have been worth over $5,000 by the end of the year. That means $500 would have turned into $25,000. So I'll say that again. How big is this opportunity? Well, imagine if you bought Apple, Microsoft, or Google on day one. Where would you be financially today? Millions of dollars in profit conservatively. And that's the kind of potential I'll prove to you truly exists. So sit back, shut down your email, close Facebook, and focus on every word I'm about to say. Because what I'm about to reveal is so powerful, so new, and so unique, it will leave your head spinning in a way you can't even imagine, just like it did mine 15 months ago. Okay, back to that email. It came from a trusted, very successful investor who was managing well over $100 million. It simply said, Chris, man, Bitcoin. Find out about it now. It's going to explode and you need to be on the inside of it. But if you wait, it could be too late. Back then, I heard a little about Bitcoin, and at first I thought it was a Ponzi scheme or an outright scam. But when Forbes magazine, pretty much the most respected financial magazine in the world, started talking a lot about Bitcoin, it really got my attention. And guess who followed? The New York Times, CNN, NBC, Time Magazine, pretty much everyone else under the sun. The more I dug, the more obvious it became that for the first time in my professional trading career, I'd found exactly what I was looking for. It was like being hit over the head with a 60-pound sledgehammer. Because an opportunity like this simply never existed before, not even close. Oh, and the opportunity I'm talking about is not what you think it is. It's far bigger, because the big secret I'm about to share will shatter your reality of what you ever imagined was possible. But more on that in a minute. Anyway, once I realized just how powerful Bitcoin was becoming, I saw a real way to take regular people like that school teacher, my parents, my neighbors, literally anyone, and show them a way to potentially turn a tiny investment into a huge nest egg. Now look, there have been so many non-legit ways that people have claimed to make huge returns like this over the years, and I was sure this had to be one of them. Penny stocks, magic trading robots, Ponzi schemes. It's a long list. So I initially thought, why would Bitcoin be any different? Well, I was at least 100 times more skeptical than you might be right now. But the more I dug, the more it all made sense. Let me tell you why. Bitcoin is digital cash that's not controlled by any government. You can send money around the world with no government red tape and hardly any fees. And it has those too big to fail banks shaking in their boots because it takes the power away from corrupt politicians and actually gives it back to the people. That's right, the people are in control, not the corrupt governments that control the value of their own currency. And the reason Bitcoin is so valuable today is because people trust it. In fact, it's now trusted so much that large companies like Dell, the Dish Network, Overstock.com, Tesla prefer to take it as payment over American dollars. That's right, they prefer it. In fact, the next time you see an ad for Overstock on TV, you'll see "We accept Bitcoin" right on your TV screen. And almost daily, you can hear about new companies and influential people getting behind the Bitcoin revolution. Restaurants accept it, food trucks accept it, and they even have Bitcoin bank machines now that you can just walk up and instantly buy Bitcoin or withdraw cash anytime you want. Pretty mind-blowing, right? So people who just bought Bitcoin and sat on them were making insane, life-changing amounts of money as it exploded in value. And get this, Bitcoin is expected to go up even more in the next 24 months. That means you need to get in on it now before it truly hits the mainstream. Because what it's done in the past is nothing compared to what it's expected to do in the future. It's like a classic bell curve where the early bird gets the cash. So don't be like the guy who waits till Google is trading at 1,000 a share when you can be the guy who got it at 49. Because of Bitcoin, we're about to see a wealth transfer unlike anything we've seen in nearly 100 years. Think about it like the California gold rush, or living in Texas on a 100-acre farm back in 1902, then boom, you strike oil. Wealth like you wouldn't believe, where the poor or average person becomes richer than the multimillionaires who have worked their entire life for their money. Think about being employee number 3 at Microsoft and getting stock options that, once they went public, were worth literally millions and millions of dollars. In fact, Max Wright, a renowned expert on Bitcoin, says the following: I've invested over $50,000 of my own money into Bitcoin. I've already made over 500% in under a year. Bitcoin's upside potential is so great that even a small amount invested today could one day fund your entire retirement and bring it on much sooner than you thought. In other words, if you just learn how to buy some Bitcoin, as many others have already discovered, your money can grow in ways you've never imagined. And Max is just one example. There are hundreds, if not thousands of others who have already hit retirement levels and are done with the rat race forever. Let me give you more proof. Look at this. Remember, I told you it was so easy a kid could do it? Well, 15-year-old entrepreneur Eric Finman, who decided to invest a $1,000 gift from his grandmother into Bitcoin in 2012, after just holding on to Bitcoin for just 1 year, he sold them for $100,000. And here's an article about a guy in Norway, Chris Koch, bought $27 worth of Bitcoin on a whim and promptly forgot about it. When he checked his wallet later, it was worth, get this, $886,000. And there are tragedies as well. Forbes recently reported on a guy named James Howells who set up his Bitcoin wallet on his old desktop and left it. Forgetting that he did so, he threw his old computer out when he got a new one. That wallet, $9 million worth. Imagine how this guy feels. In fact, over the course of the last 24 to 36 months alone, Bitcoin has shot up in value almost 17,000%. Yeah, 17,000. And it's made people wealthy beyond their dreams. So here's what you need to understand. Pay extra close attention to what I'm about to say. All of these guys were a bunch of yahoos who just made money by buying Bitcoin and then forgot about it. These guys didn't have the first clue about what to actually do with their Bitcoin. All three forgot they even had them and then were shocked at their increase in value. They all made life-changing income by accident. Think about that. If people are profiting by accident, imagine what you can do when you actually know what you're doing. If you had bought some Bitcoin just last year and let it sit there, you would have outperformed Google, Microsoft, Apple, and world-famous investor Warren Buffett by 100-fold. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do just that. I'm going to show you how to buy Bitcoin and get your share of these potentially life-changing returns right off the bat. I'll teach you about the best places to buy your Bitcoin and how to keep it protected so that as it sits in your wallet, it just grows and grows. But simply learning how to buy and hold Bitcoin might just be the best opportunity to come along in over 100 years if you know what you're doing. And if that's all you want to do, I'm going to give you the tools to do it like a pro in no time flat. But as incredible as all that sounds, that's not even the tip of the iceberg, because I'm about to go one massive step further. This is where you really need to lean in close, especially for those of you who thought you knew everything about Bitcoin. Remember that two-part secret? Here's part one, and it's big, mind-blowingly big. When you buy Bitcoin, you can trade it like a stock, and it's about as easy as trading baseball cards. But the bottom line is that you can supercharge your returns. That's right. With just one or two simple 15-minute trades a month, you can exponentially increase your profits over just buying and holding it. No kidding. It's like pouring gasoline on a fire. It will absolutely explode your returns. I can't overstate the power of what I just said. Think about that for a second. You can make incredible exponential gains on your money by doing nothing but buying and holding it. Just imagine what can happen when you know how to actually trade it. And why learn how to trade it? Let me explain. Now, I'm not saying that you have to trade it, just that when you realize that it's as easy as making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you'll want to trade it. Over the past year or so, we've seen about a half a dozen massive fluctuations in price. I'm talking huge increases in price and temporary crashes in price. And the uneducated person thinks Bitcoin is just another bubble and then laughs when Bitcoin's price decreases. But if you know when to get in and when to get out, you stand to make gains much higher than everyone else who's just holding it. It's hard to imagine gains even higher than what Bitcoin did last year, but it's true. And that's why the time is completely of the essence. Now is the time for you to get in. Think about it. $100 turned into $16,000. And you don't have to take my word for it. Just go look it up in Forbes, CNN, the New York Times. Just look anywhere. It happened. It's pure fact. But if you learn how to trade it and you make profitable trades, odds are you'll make way more money than just buying and holding it. For example, let's say that you missed the first two massive increases in price and you recently invested $100 in Bitcoin. After just holding it for a few months, you'd be up about $618. Not bad, right? But if you took that same $100 and combined it with the power of trading it, you could have nearly quadrupled your returns, seeing about $2,142 in profit potential. And by the way, the trades on this chart are all trade predictions I made publicly to thousands of my students. More on that in a minute. So instead of just waiting for Bitcoin to go up on its own, you can trade it just once or twice a month and multiply your gains exponentially by simply buying and selling it as it moves up and down. And get this, almost no one is doing this effectively. So my secret sauce and what I do that almost nobody else is doing is I take the raw power of Bitcoin and multiply it by the power of trading it. And there's never been anything close to the opportunity that exists right now. It's truly beyond words. And here's the really big one, guys. This is part 2 of the secret I promised to reveal. Are you sitting down? Because this is going to knock you over. I'm going to show you exactly how to profit when Bitcoin goes down.